Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams with the news at 9. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Operation Dost in Turkey and Syria is an example of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, interacts with NDRF personnel involved in rescue operation. President Draupadi Murmu says development of any society cannot be inclusive without development of women. Attends 37th Statehood Day of Arunachal Pradesh in Itanagar. Joint military exercise Dost Lake between India and Uzbekistan Army commences in Pithoragarh, Uttarakhand. US President Joe Biden makes a surprise trip to Kiev, Ukraine. India win 2 gold medals in shooting at ISSF World Cup in Egypt. And in Women's T20 Cricket World Cup, India set a target of 156 against Ireland at Canberra in South Africa. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that India's quick response to the earthquake hit Turkey and Syria has attracted attention of the whole world. The Prime Minister said it is a reflection of the preparedness of the country's rescue and relief teams. Mr. Modi was interacting with personnel involved under Operation Dost in Turkey and Syria. Mr. Modi said that India recognizes the whole world as one family, as Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is its culture.
हमारी संस्कृति ने हमें वसुधैव कुटुंबकम की सीख दी है। वो जीव मात्र को अपना मानकर उनकी सेवा करते हैं। तुर्की हो या फिर सीरिया हो, पूरी टीम ने इन्हीं भारतीय संस्कारों का प्रगटीकरण किया है। हम पूरे विश्व को एक परिवार मानते हैं। ऐसे में परिवार के किसी भी सदस्य पर अगर कोई संकट आए तो भारत का धर्म है उसकी मदद के लिए तेजी से आगे बढ़ना।
During the interaction, Prime Minister Modi termed the efforts of the entire team involved in rescue and relief measures under Operation Dost as exemplary.
तुर्की में भूकंप के बाद आप सभी जितनी जल्दी वहां पहुंचे, ये आपकी प्रिपेयर्डनेस को दिखाता है। पूरे 10 दिनों तक आपने पूरी निष्ठा से वहां हर चुनौती का सामना करते हुए काम किया, वो वाकई प्रेरणादायक है। वहां से आने वाली हर तस्वीर के साथ पूरा देश गर्व से भर रहा था। वहां गई भारतीय टीम ने प्रोफेशनलिज्म के साथ साथ मानवीय संवेदनाओं का भी जो समावेश किया है, वो अतुलनीय है।
The Prime Minister added that Operation Dost is an example of India's dedication to humanity and its commitment to stand by nations in distress. He stated that India has always been the first responder to any calamity in any part of the world. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Singapore counterpart Lee Hsien Loong will witness the launch of cross-border connectivity between the Unified Payments Interface of India and PayNow of Singapore through video conferencing tomorrow. The launch will be done by RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das and Ravi Menon, Managing Director, Monetary Authority of Singapore. The linkage of these two payment systems will enable residents of both countries in faster and cost-efficient transfer of cross-border remittances. President Draupadi Murmu has said that the northeastern states are playing a crucial role in giving a new direction to the development of the nation. The President said this while attending the 37th Statehood Day celebration of Arunachal Pradesh in Itanagar today. The President said that in the age of technology we should move forward, keeping in mind the idea of technology for social justice.
21वीं सदी टेक्नोलॉजी की सदी है, लेकिन कि हमें टेक्नोलॉजी फॉर सोशल जस्टिस की सोच के साथ आगे बढ़ना चाहिए। राज्य सरकार द्वारा ड्रोन टेक्नोलॉजी का इस्तेमाल कृषि, बागवानी, स्वास्थ्य सेवाओं और पर्यावरण संरक्षण के लिए किया जा रहा है। मेडिसिन फ्रॉम द स्काई कार्यक्रम के अंतर्गत दूर दराज के गांव में दवाइयां और वैक्सीन ड्रोन के माध्यम से कम समय में पहुंचाने की पहल राज्य के कुछ क्षेत्रों में की गई है। ये प्रयास टेक्नोलॉजी फॉर सोशल इम्पैक्ट का अच्छा उदाहरण है।
The President said the development of any society cannot be inclusive without the development of women.
महिलाओं के विकास के बिना कभी भी समाज का संपूर्ण विकास नहीं हो सकता है। अरुणाचल प्रदेश की पंचायतों में महिलाओं का प्रतिनिधित्व लगभग 47% है। इस विशेष उपलब्धि के लिए मैं अरुणाचल प्रदेश की महिलाओं और यहाँ के सभी निवासियों को बहुत बहुत बधाई देती हूँ। बोमडिला की ओंगसू जामसेनपा को वर्ष 2021 में पद्मश्री पुरस्कार भी दिया गया है। मैं उनको बहुत बहुत बधाई देती हूँ। नारी शक्ति पुरस्कार से सम्मानित तागेरिता ताखे प्रदेश के स्थानीय एग्रो वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट को अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बाजार तक लेकर जा रही है।
The President earlier laid foundation stones of 2 infrastructure projects, including the 40-kilometer double-lane road between Danye Polo Airport and Naharlagun railway station. She also launched 2 animation films on indigenous folk stories from Arunachal Pradesh. The President is on a 2-day visit to the state. She will address the members of the State Legislative Assembly during a special session of the House in the Assembly Hall tomorrow. In Meghalaya, Assembly elections campaigning is underway in full swing as leaders of all political parties are trying to garner support for their party candidates. Star campaigners and senior leaders are holding public meetings, rallies and pocket meetings in several assembly segments. For BJP, several union ministers are hitting the trail during campaigning. Polling will be held on the 27th of February in all 60 assembly segments. More from our correspondent.
Addressing a public meeting in Nongthimmai Assembly segment, BJP MP Ravi Kishan said BJP is committed to all-round development of the state. NPP leader and Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma addressed a rally in Mausin Ram, where he claimed that the policies and programs of party resonates with value and sentiments of the people of Meghalaya. The Congress leader Gaurav Gogoi took pot shots at NPP and its former allies of MDA coalition. Dharmendra Kumar Rai, AIR News, Shillong.
With Nagaland also set to go to the polls on February the 27th, several political leaders and star campaigners of different parties are aggressively campaigning for their party's candidates. A galaxy of leaders are reaching the state to address rallies. Senior BJP leader and Union Home Minister Amit Shah addressed a public rally at Mon this evening. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma addressed several election rallies in the state. Nagaland Congress Chief K. Tedi addressed a public meeting in Dimapur. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. BVR Subramaniam has been appointed as the new Chief Executive Officer CEO of Niti Aayog. The appointment committee of the Cabinet has approved his appointment for a period of 2 years from the date of assumption of the charge of the post. He will replace Parameshwaran Iyer, who has been appointed as Executive Director, World Bank Headquarters, Washington, D.C., USA. In Bihar, Senior Janata Dal United leader Upendra Kushwaha today quit the party and resigned from all party positions. Mr. Kushwaha also launched a new political party, Rashtriya Lok Janata Dal, RLJD. He has also resigned from the post of MLC. Kushwaha said he has taken this decision after 2 days of meeting with workers in Patna. Talking to reporters after the resignation, Upendra Kushwaha said, barring a few, everyone in the JDU was expressing concern. Mr. Kushwaha alleged Nitish Kumar did good in the beginning, but in the end, the path on which he started walking is bad for him and Bihar. The 4th edition of joint military exercise Dustlik between the Indian Army and Uzbekistan Army commenced today in Pithoragarh, Uttarakhand. The Defence Ministry said 45 soldiers each from Uzbekistan and the Indian Army are participating in this exercise. The exercise is aimed at promoting positive relations between both the armies. The Indian Army contingent comprises troops from an infantry battalion from the Garhwal Rifles Regiment. The 14-day-long joint exercise will focus on joint counter-terrorist operations in mountainous and semi-urban scenario under UN mandate. A U.S. congressional delegation of 9 senators led by Senate Majority Leader Charles Schumer called on Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi today. Mr. Modi welcomed the congressional delegation to India and appreciated the consistent and bipartisan support of the U.S. Congress for deepening India-U.S. bilateral ties. Mr. Modi also referred to his recent phone call with U.S. President Joseph Biden and the shared vision of the two leaders for further elevating India-U.S. comprehensive global strategic partnership to address contemporary global challenges. Mr. Modi and the U.S. delegation recognized the shared democratic values, robust bilateral cooperation, strong people-to-people ties, and the vibrant Indian community in the U.S. as strong pillars anchoring the bilateral strategic partnership. The Prime Minister also discussed with the U.S. delegation new opportunities for consolidating the India-U.S. ties in critical technologies, clean energy transition, joint development and production, and trusted and resilient supply chains. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz will be on a two-day visit to India from Saturday. During his visit, he will hold discussion with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on bilateral, regional and global issues. The two leaders will also interact with CEOs and business leaders of both sides. Chancellor Scholz will also call on President Draupadi Murmu. This will be Chancellor Scholz's first visit to India in his current role. He will be accompanied by senior officials and a high-powered business delegation. Ambassador of India to Nepal, Naveen Srivastava, handed over the first tranche of 20 kidney dialysis machines to the Nepalese Minister for Health and Population, Padam Giri, today. These 20 are the first of the 200 such machines that are being gifted by Government of India to Nepal. President Joe Biden made a surprise visit to the Ukrainian capital Kiev, his first visit to Ukraine since its conflict with Russia began almost a year ago. His visit was shrouded in secrecy until this morning. President Biden met his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky in Kiev. He also met the First Lady of Ukraine, Olena Zelenska. In a joint media briefing alongside his Ukrainian counterpart from St. Michael's Golden-Domed Cathedral in central Kiev, the U.S. President commended Ukraine's courage during the conflict with Russia.
The world was literally at the time bracing for the fall of Kyiv. Seems like longer ago than a year, but think back to that year. Perhaps even the end of Ukraine. 1 year later, Kyiv stands, and Ukraine stands. Democracy stands. The Americans stand with you, and the world stands with you. Kyiv has captured a part of my heart, I must say.
Earlier, the U.S. President said Washington will provide Kiev with a new military aid package worth $500 million that would be announced on Tuesday. Ahead of a press conference, President Biden held talks with President Zelensky. We spoke to former diplomat Ashok Sajanhar on the U.S. President's visit to Ukraine.
It's a hugely significant development that President Joe Biden of the United States paid a surprise visit to Kiev to meet President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine as a gesture of support to Ukraine. That's a huge deal, and it will send out a very strong message that the United States and NATO is willing to stay with Ukraine for as long as it takes.
India clinched 2 gold medals on the second day of the ongoing ISSF Shooting World Cup at Cairo in Egypt today. Indian 10-meter air rifle mixed team of Narmada Nitin Raju and Rudraksh Balasaheb Patil and 10-meter air pistol mixed team of Ridham Sangwan and Varun Tomar have bagged the yellow medal. In the 10-meter air pistol mixed team event, the pair of Varun Tomar and Ridham Sangwan routed Serbian pair Zorana Arunovic and Damir Mikic 16-10 to win the gold medal. India has set a target of 156 runs for Ireland to win in their last Group 2 match of the Women's T20 World Cup 2023 at St. George's Park, Cuberha, South Africa. India scored 155 runs for the loss of 6 wickets in their stipulated 20 overs. Smriti Mandhana top scored with 87 runs for India. For Ireland, captain Laura Delaney took 3 wickets. In reply, Ireland were 54 for 2 in 8.2 overs when reports last came in. The match is now delayed due to rain. Earlier, India won the toss and elected to bat. Now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Operation Dost in Turkey and Syria is an example of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, interacts with NDRF personnel involved in rescue operation. President Draupadi Murmu says development of any society cannot be inclusive without the development of women, attends 37th Statehood Day of Arunachal Pradesh in Itanagar. Joint military exercise Dustlik between India and Uzbekistan army commences in Pithoragarh, Uttarakhand. US President Joe Biden makes a surprise trip to Kiev, Ukraine. India wins 2 gold medals in shooting at ISSF World Cup in Egypt. And in Women's T20 Cricket World Cup, India set a target of 156 against Ireland at Caverha in South Africa. The details of these stories and more log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. That is all in the news at 9. Good night.